Welcome to PropTech Pulse, the podcast that takes the pulse of prop technology in multifamily. I'm your host, Shelly Robinson, and each week we'll be diving deep into innovations, challenges, and the future of work in property technology and multifamily. From AI-driven property management to blockchain and real estate, we're here to explore how technology is reshaping the way we live, work, and invest in multifamily communities. Whether you're a property manager, a tech entrepreneur, an executive, or even simply curious about the future of living spaces, PropTech Pulse is your weekly dose of insights and inspiration. So let's sync our rhythms and get on with the show. It's time to take the pulse. Welcome to PropTech Pulse. Today I have Stéphanie Versin with me. Stéphanie, welcome to the podcast.
Good morning, Shelly. Thank you for having me.
It's always great to talk to you. And you and I get together, talk about multifamily. We used to work together at Prometheus Real Estate Group, and we had really candid conversations. And so we thought, why not turn it into a podcast? So
exactly.
I think we've got some good things to chat about today, and I think the audience will really resonate with it. And then I just want to let everybody know, stay until the end, because Stephanie's got what I call the carrot stick at the end to kind of dangle in front. So we hope you'll stay till the end today so you can hear what Stéphanie has to share.
It's not a stick. It's just a carrot.
Just a carrot. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to kick this off today with what I call the future in a bottle question. So you've been thinking really deeply about the modern prospect journey. How do you see generative AI transforming the way we understand and interact with potential residents in the next few years?
Yes, this is such a great question. Thank you, Shelly. Back in the days, maybe 20 years ago, when you were a marketer, you had a very linear funnel, a very linear customer journey. It was pretty easy to understand step 1, step 2, step 3. Nowadays, we have a very complex, multi-level, multi-staging customer journey, which makes things a little bit harder for a marketer to understand the most influential customer journeys in your pipeline.
Yeah.
Because you have multiple staging from streaming, scrolling, searching, and then finally buying.
Yeah.
And all of those stages could be repeated multiple times based on the persona of your customer and where they stand in their needs. So by doing that, it's much harder you have multiple, like you have maybe 10, 20 different scenarios to really look at it and see where you should be spending money with your marketing budget. And what AI is going to help marketers to do is to be smarter and faster in identifying those different top influential customer journeys. What are the touch points that are really triggering the next stage, and spending money accordingly. So instead of saying like, oh my goodness, I have to tackle 20 different scenarios, and it's a lot of work, as we know.
Yeah.
AI is going to help you to identify your top 10 paths and most influential touch points to look at putting the money where basically the needs are. And that's, to me, it's revolutionary, because back in the days, you had to identify it, you had to do focus group, you had to look at, your heat map on your website and look at all your performance, all your channels. Generative AI is going to help you to simplify that legwork to really give you, basically serve you on a platter where you should be spending money, because they have in real time identified where your customers are and the kind of the path they are taking nowadays with all those multiple touch points from YouTube, Instagram, ILSs, your own website, online reputation reviews as well. Like there's so much to be handling here. So I'm very excited about this because we definitely need it. We don't have much more resources on the marketing side, but we have now. Generative AI is going to be part of your team.
I love, one, it's taking out the mystery meat conversation that is always so difficult when you're trying to sell what you want to put together as your packages. And then it's also creating so much efficiency so you can focus as a marketer on higher value items in your time rather than trying to put, 10 reports together to get to that one insight. So that is huge, huge. So then let's talk about, the shift from traditional to dynamic marketing budgets, and budgets are on everybody's top of mind. I was just at an MHC and everything's money, cost savings, NOI compression. How do you envision AI helping property managers make real-time spending decisions?
Well, in the same vein as everything is much more dynamic nowadays, from the customer journey being dynamic and more complex, I think your marketing budget is not set and done. Back in the days, we used to set up a budget. It was very rigid. It was barely seasonal.
Yeah.
And with AI as well, you are going to be able to really have an agile approach of your budget, which means that in real time, you will be able to reallocate your spending based on what is the most performing channel based on market, seasonality, level of new supplies, and things like that. And to me, this is what I think the shift has to happen in the marketers, is that it's never set and done. Your budget is a beast to really look at on a weekly basis, even daily basis, which you can, to readjust. And really readjust in so many ways. You need to look at it not just like, well, apparently this channel brings me the most lead. I don't care about the most lead. I care about the most qualified lead that will turn into a lease. And also I do care about the value of that lease. So you can and you will be able to identify the value of that lease that has been signed. So let's say, because back in the days, everybody said, well, we need to spend $350 per unit or $400 per unit. That was
what's your cost per lease? Yeah.
Well, how much is my lease that I just signed? Let's say it's $3,000 of annual value of $36,000. Mm-hmm. If you have spent $350 for that lease, it means that your marketing cost is less than 1%.
Amazing.
It's amazing. And I think we need to look, as marketer, we need to look at what the value we are bringing, not just the cost per lease, but what is that lease value to the NOI? Because otherwise you can't have a great conversation with asset management. You are just going to be always framed into, you need to spend 350 maximum. No, I don't. I have to actually a 5,000 lease in New York requires probably much more marketing than not. What is the percentage of the cost of your marketing spend compared to the value of your lease? I think it's a much more interesting ratio to look at.
And what a great pivot into real value from that standard cost per lease conversation. Because even getting to that used to be difficult. And
it's all about tracking. So back to marketing needs to track everything. Even more than before. Now everything is really digital. So you must spend a lot of time and attention to tracking, making sure that your website track the right marketing sources. You need to have your Google Tag Manager put in place on your website. You need to make sure your ILS are, the last attribution. Where is that coming from? Or is it the first attribution? Again, the customer journey is so difficult and so complex that it's not just one channel that win the lease. It's multiple channels that will at the end contribute to a lease.
That's really great advice. This kind of leads me into from the quality of the leads into the quality of the tours and our favorite closed door conversation, leasing success. So you've mentioned to me before that we need to rethink how we measure leasing success. Can you walk us through what you mean by quality over quantity in the leasing process?
Yes, it's my favorite topic. As you know, well, we always, most of the time, we put so much pressure and responsibilities on our on-site leasing to make the deal every day, to sign leases, to really bring basically the revenue to the bottom line. And this is the most important, to me, it's the most important role is leasing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a good leasing, you will not have a good NOI at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And, to me, I come from the hospitality industry where sales is usually very much on commission and you hire real salespeople. We need to hire real sales leasing managers that their leasing incentive should be really based on commission. The more you do, the more you sign, the better you are going to make money. I think the multifamily nowadays is giving a very low base salary to your leasing managers. They are usually fairly green, not trained as much to be a sales people, and they have a lot of responsibilities on site. They have to pick up the phone. They have to tour. They have to follow up. They have to do lease management. They have to do a lot of admin and reporting and make sure the resident that is coming in the office find that package that they lost. This is too much. I think we need to refocus the function of the leasing managers to be true salespeople. And you need to tell them as true salespeople to encourage them to do more. You want your leasing manager to lease. You don't want your leasing manager to just be a warm body in the office to answer phones and do paperwork. And that's where I think we need to shift that spirit about just paying leasing manager a minimum wage, expecting them to do outstanding work. Yeah. This is not, when you look at car dealerships, for example, those are your real salespeople. They will sell you that car. Why? Because that's the only thing they need to do is that job. And they are also paid 100% commission to make sure they're going to sell you that car. Yeah. How about we invite a little bit more of the sales spirit into our leasing managers and our leasing workforce to make sure they're going to do an amazing job? Because right now, I think the setup is failing the person in that position, and it's also failing your bottom line.
You know, it's so, and when I got into leasing, it was always with the career trajectory to get into management. And those are very different skill sets. So it's really setting up different career paths and aligning those incentives to those different career paths, and even setting up your organization differently, which I think goes into whether you call it centralization or work to rehome or optimizing your workforce. It's a really important topic to really look at. And I think it would attract really different people into the industry, and our industry needs that attraction. Back to the carrot. We need that industry attraction carrot to go.
Absolutely. Like I think it could be a leasing manager or leasing director as a career. You don't have to become like a APM or PM. To me, it's very different profile that you're looking for. And this industry has always been like, well, from a leasing sales manager, you will become an APM, and then you don't have to. And I don't think it's the same skill set that you're looking for.
No, I completely agree on that. I love your comparison of leasing managers to car sales managers. How would this compensation restructure work in your mind?
Well, it's a huge shift, to be honest with you, but I have experienced it myself. And even when you look at, very dense, markets like San Francisco or New York, a lot of the leasing is actually done by brokers. And,
Chicago's that way. Yeah.
Brokers are paid 100% commissions. They are not paid with a salary. And if we infuse this philosophy into really hiring sales people into those positions and allowing them to be 100% commission, they will make much more money than having a base salary and a little bit of incentive to do leasing. I think to me, it's a win-win situation for the industry and also for the individual that is in this position.
And I don't even think commissions have really even kept up over the years, because I think back, and I'm not going to date myself, but when I first started out in leasing, I'm still hearing some of those commissions are still the same many years later. And that is not keeping up with time or any expect top talent out of that.
And brokers it's a career. It's a way of living and making a lot of money in some markets. So why not implementing this to be more flexible with it and have really real professional people? There is nothing worse than touring an asset and knowing that person is touring, but she or he doesn't have the skills to close the deal, to bring the final, benefits for the person to really lease. And at this point, that person touring has cost so much money already from marketing, the time, the everything, the scheduling, the touring. So you have to close that. The closing ratio needs to be improved in our industry.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially if you're driving those quality leads through your artificial intelligence. That's an active, hot lead. That is not a cold call. That is not a cold lead. It should have a lot of opportunity to close if you have the right skills.
Correct.
Yeah. So kind of let's go to the prospect journey. You and I have also discussed in our cocktail and the lunch chats how fragmented that prospect journey has become. How can AI help create more cohesive marketing strategies across those touch points?
So the good news is that our industry has embraced AI in a sense of using automation much more to help with all those leads that are bombarding your team, on-site team, and really trying to help with the first response, which is great because no one can answer 1,000 leads per day if needed. But what I think I have observed and experienced myself as well is the synchronization of adding technology, AI technology, and the human touch in the customer journey. So it's not rare to experience scheduling a tour with a bot.
Yeah.
And that's great. But then nobody is following up to make sure they are going to actually show up for that tour. And at that point, you probably need a human being, your leasing salesperson, to confirm, to qualify even further that lead and to make sure that lead is going to show up to your tour. It is my pet peeve and the main issue in this industry right now is that the bot is helping to really filter, get the tour on schedule, but the no-shows are now an issue. And we need to look at this. We really need to look at why people are not actually having the skin in the game as expected. Is it because it was a low intent lead and the bot in some ways forced the lead to schedule a tour because that's the only thing they do?
Yeah.
Or is it because we're not following up enough to build that connection, to build that relationship, to say, I am Shelley and I will be so happy to tour you tomorrow at 4. Let me know what can I help you with to make sure that tour is happening. And so making sure that we infuse the human touch as well as the AI technology, because otherwise we are having a complete meltdown in a sense of we're not doing a great job. The dialogue of the automation doesn't reflect what the prospect needs anymore. And then it's completely, we're failing the prospect. Even though we think we're doing a good job because all those leads are now responded promptly, but are they serving a true purpose, which is at the end, the prospect is going to show up?
That's really spot on. And I kind of think back to, we were always taught in our leasing process to make it memorable and to remember custom things about those prospects. And so that high level service comes back to being different and memorable. And there's opportunities, especially since the customers are savvy about the bots. Everybody I know a bot. Our customers know a bot. So if we're not making it sticky before the tour, there's a big opportunity there to really stand out in your service.
And I think the next evolution of AI, again, for those bots is to identify where the prospect is. Do they just need to gather information? In that case, let them gather as much information as possible. Maybe they are not ready for a tour. But right now, I think the technology is really about the ultimate goal is to schedule that tour. So the bot is really, really getting you to schedule that tour, and then they will leave you alone, and then you will never show up. So I think a more granular approach would be amazing. And that's probably the next AI is probably happening as we speak, is to have a bot that can identify what do you really need right now. Are you ready to tour? Would be a great question to be asked first.
Yeah. Just browsing. Yeah. Well, and then there's an opportunity. What I'm hearing you say is there's an opportunity for these language learning models and generative AI to actually learn how to nurture you, or prompt the leasing how to nurture the person, saying they aren't ready to tour, but like invite them to a property event because they're looking in 90 days, or, there's opportunity there to customize the journey further, for sure.
Well, it's where you should be able to connect the AI bot with your dripping marketing campaign, for example. So the AI should be like, well, this person is not ready. Let's drop that lead into that customer journey for now, because they just need more information about us. So let's send an email about all the amenities, so you have to connect the AI automation on your website, for example, with what marketing usually does with dripping campaigns per persona.
Yeah.
But that connection is not made yet, I don't think. And that's where we're missing the boat, and we're losing leads, which to me it's it always breaks my heart, because it costs so much money and time to get that lead in your own funnel that when it leaks out, it's just a sad news to me.
Well, that leads me to the next question then. So what metrics are important to track now to really understand these stages in the leasing? Because you've got marketing, you've got nurturing, you've got artificial intelligence, you've got touring, you've got all of these multi-dimensional sources that you're trying to track. What really stands out to you that measure what matters?
So you have to have two sets of measures. One are more the marketing one, which are, all right, so again, qualified leads, how much this channel is bringing from the leads value, what we discussed a little bit earlier, and really calculating your ROI per net leads per channel, because a lot of channels might be bringing leads that are going to be rejected. Or leads are going to be canceled. So you have to also look at your canceled application, your rejected application, and where was that lead coming from a marketing source. So that's a very important ratio to look at, on top of the true net leads and the value of the leads. So that's the marketing side. And you also need to look at the ratio of the time from the time you lease that unit to the time it's being leased. What are the channels that bring you leads that are actually making the deal 30 days or less? So that's for marketing. On the leasing side, you absolutely need to have a conversion ratio at every step of the leasing process. I think lead to lease is a great indicator. It's an overall indicator.
Sure.
But really looking at from inquiries to a qualified lead. What is your ratio? From a qualified lead to a tour scheduled, from a tour scheduled to a tour completed, from a tour completed to an online application made, from an online application to really signing the lease. So you have actually 6 conversion ratios to really observe as a leasing person, to see where and why you are losing that lead. To me, that's the fascinating part of understanding marketing and leasing, because it's the same customer that starts with your marketing website, ILS, description, etc., and finish up to leasing. And how long does it take? And why are we losing those people in the middle? That's what needs to be granularly looked at as a marketer. We cannot just be like, well, we're spending here, we're spending there, and hopefully we're going to sign some leases. This is requiring a granular approach to where you spend it, how you spend it, and is it working?
Yeah.
So that's what I think AI can help you at every stage to be like helping you to analyze why people are moving out of your funnel. I'm really excited about AI. I cannot wait for AI to really help marketers to bring to the funnel the people that are going to sign leads, because at the end of the day, that's what marketing is. Marketing generates revenue. Yes, it costs money to do marketing, but you have to pay to play, as we know.
Yeah, it's really good insights. Are there any traditional marketing metrics that you think we need to retire?
That's such a great one. I think we need to retire the marketing needs to produce more leads. This is, to me, it's like, it's all about quality, not quantity.
It is, yeah.
And it's always rubbed me the wrong way when someone says, we need to spend more money to have more leads. I'm like, do we need more leads?
Yeah.
Do we know if it's that the right solution, or do we need more leasing sales people to make sure that those leads are going to be taken care of and nurtured properly into the whole funnel? So that's, to me, more leads doesn't mean anything anymore. It really doesn't. Especially if you understand the customer journey and the complexity of the journey, you should not be asking for more leads. You need to ask marketing, can you bring me more qualified leads?
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
And having those insights to say, these are the type of ways that we typically are able to generate the most quality for you. This is the blend of channels that gets you to the best outcomes. While you look at the rest of your business, you look at your product, you look at your people, you look at, your price, and then you have a really effective strategy to unfold.
And one more thing, I think, because we've seen in 2024 and we will see again in 2025 so much new supply. So there's a saturation happening.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, well, that's the battle of the concessions, correct? Everybody is doing concessions, and it's kind of like overbidding concessions. Yeah. Does it make sense? Are we really triggering more leads by having a very big concession, or are we triggering leads by really treating the lead properly throughout the customer journey?
Yeah.
Again, it's like nurturing, making sure that the person is taken care of, that you reach out before a tour, that you reach out after a tour, that customer service, customer touch, you cannot do it with AI. You cannot do it with anything but making sure you build that relationship with your prospect. And that, I think, turns into leads at the end of the day. It really does.
True. I've gone on so many property tours, and you get a bad experience, some lackadaisical or rude person in the office, and there's no amount of concession or perfect location or amazing apartment where I'm going to move into that property. It's just not going to happen. So service really does differentiate on a high level.
And we need to also make sure we look at it. We look at the feedback. We respond to the reviews. We understand, not everything will be perfect, but I think what really counts is the way you repair an experience.
Yep.
And that's ignoring reviews is not something you can do anymore. 70% of your prospects are going to look online to Google reviews, to Yelp reviews, to apartment ratings reviews. And you have to make sure you engage with those reviews one or another. Even if the reviews are negative, even better. That's a better occasion to save that lead.
It's so true. Service recovery is king. If you could implement one AI-powered solution across all properties tomorrow, what would that one be?
Oh, that's such a great question. We were talking about AI being able to guide the marketers to have a true dynamic marketing budget and helping to allocate to the right channel at the right moment in each right market.
Yep.
That's the AI I would implement to help the marketers to see where is the focus for spending money, because it's still so difficult to track those very complex customer journeys, and it's seasonal, and it's also based on class of the assets. It's based on markets. It's based on your competition, if you have a lease up next door or not. So if I can feed an AI bot with all those information, and I can have a kind of a little ticket that says to me, you should be spending $100 here. Tomorrow, I'll be like, this is the winning ticket to me.
Yeah. Complete this sentence. The future of leasing compensation looks like
100% commissioned.
Love it. I love that. All right. We have your carrot question. Last one. For multifamily marketers who are feeling overwhelmed by all these changes, where should they start in modernizing their approach?
Start with the basic. I think we sometimes really forget to look at just basically start with your website. Is your website Google friendly? Have you done your work with your SEO? Have you, so is your website going to be AI friendly, which is now happening as well, needs to be. So before you spend anything, do your diligence with SEO. Is your website SEO friendly? Have you done everything you can for your organic traffic to be, because organic traffic is free compared to other things. And to me, it's like start with your website, and then also start with, if you have to spend money on ILSs, I do not like being locked into a long marketing package agreement that costs money. That is a complete fixed cost. So to me, that is the rigid, it's the dynamic budget. When you have an ILS agreement signed for 6 or 12 months, you are locked.
Totally.
You cannot change anything. So make sure that you use ILSs with a model of a pay per lease model, because then it's flexible. Then it really reward the performance of that channel instead of just like you throw money at them and they are good or not too bad because you are locked into 6 or 12 months. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do first. And then after that, once you've done your website, you've done your Google My Business profile optimization is also very important. Yeah. Google is a huge ecosystem. Google is free in a sense, but you have to spend time to make sure that your marketing description is up to date. Your pictures are up to date. You have created unit level videos are also very important nowadays. Mm-hmm. The prospect wants to see which unit they are going to rent. They want to see, of course, your amenities and your outside building pictures. Mm-hmm. They want to tour virtually that unit that they are interested in. So do your due diligence and produce videos that are at the unit level to really show the product that someone can lease. Marketing description at the unit level as well. And that's where AI can help you, because ChatGPT can produce a very good unit description as long as you feed them with the specificities of this floor plan.
Oh, totally. That's so true. I don't know what I would do without those tools, just creating so much efficiency. So
it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, Stephanie, this has been a great conversation. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. We'll make sure we put your contact information in the podcast when we do it. And we appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much, Shelley, for having me. It was a pleasure, as always.
As always. Thank you. And that wraps up another episode of PropTech Pulse. I hope this conversation has given you valuable insights and perhaps even sparked some ideas for your own PropTech journey. Remember, the future of multifamily is being written right now with every technological advance and innovative solution. So stay curious, stay connected, and keep your finger on the pulse of PropTech. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to PropTech Pulse on your favorite podcast platform and share this along with your colleagues. You can also find us on social media for bite-sized insights and updates. I'm Shelley Robinson, and until next time, let's keep innovating, disrupting, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in PropTech and multifamily. Let's build it together.